Hello, and welcome to the 13th episode of the 10th Divine podcast. This is a show about the Elder Scrolls Online, and I'm your host, Shanty, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Raven. How are you doing this week?
Oh my god.
What's the latest in the saga of the flat?
Oh my god. Oh, well, the latest in the saga of the flat is a whole load of paperwork arrived on Wednesday. My solicitor said, no, this is still not the right paperwork. It's still not enough paperwork. They've still not answered any of the questions. So by Friday morning, nothing else had come through. And I was literally Friday morning like, well, I don't think this is going to happen now because we are very close to my mortgage offer running out. And Friday afternoon, weirdly, the vendor's solicitor rang the estate agent and went, yeah, so I think we should exchange and complete on the same day. And I think we should try and do that a week today. Which is wild considering how much work there is still to do. And also wild because they are the people who are not doing the work. So, I mean, maybe they've secretly got all the answers to the questions and are just, for some reason, have decided that they're secret and they don't share them with my solicitor. Fuck knows what's going on is the thing. But it suddenly sounds like we've gone from this might be about to fall apart completely to actually this might complete a week on Friday, so that would be the day after most people are listening to this podcast. It might complete the following Monday. It might complete at some point the following week. But it seems more likely that I might actually be able to move. So that's quite exciting.
Huzzah!
Although it's also a bit of a suddenly I was like, oh shit! So there's suddenly loads of stuff I need to do. So I've started putting all of the things in motion. I've started putting lots of things in boxes, and the cat is very, very cross and very upset with me. So yeah, standard day here in London town. Maybe where are we? So by the time we next record, theoretically, I should own property. Don't anyone hold your breath. But by the time I next record, I should own property. And then by the time you hear not this episode, but the next one should be the day after I move. So yeah, we'll see. Nobody hold your breath or else you're probably going to drown. Shanty, how was your week?
Do keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah, do keep your fingers crossed and your toes and everything else. And we shall see. How's your week been? No more dental trauma, I hope.
No, I go in this coming week for the permanent crown where I had the root canal done, and then start work on the bridge that I put off for a month because bills and the economy sucks.
Yeah, the economy does suck. The economy does suck a lot.
Yeah, the big negative this week was the management meeting at work at 2:30 in the afternoon on a Friday, which is
right in
prime sleep time.
Night, yeah. Yeah, nobody wants to be woken up in the middle of the night for a management meeting. That's just that's not a thing.
They kept it to less than 45 minutes at least. And my boss is a talker, so that's a win.
Okay, all right, good.
But as ever, we are not on our own. We are very excited for today's guest, DemonCatDaphne. How are you doing, Daphne?
I am doing good, thank you. So excited to be here.
Great.
It's been a hectic week for me as well. I've just been listening to your stories and I'm like, I'm so glad I'm not alone with all this hecticness.
Yeah, 2022 has been really, really full on. Really full on.
Yeah. On one side, it feels like it's passed in a blink of an eye, and on the other hand, it feels like so much has happened. It's just been a slow journey.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. But hey, maybe the end is in sight.
Well, let us hope with the end of the year approaching and everything.
Yeah.
If the chaos could contain itself to this calendar year, that'd be great.
Yeah, honestly, that would be all right.
I've given up with hoping, maybe next year will be better because there is just so far the experience hasn't been great. So I'm just gonna not hope for anything and just keep my expectations low, because then it can only get better, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good approach. I think I think if the last 2 years have taught us anything, it's next year could be worse. So yeah.
Yeah, so what have you been up to in game recently? Raven, why don't you kick us off here?
So I'm still going through the new DLC. I've done a little bit more questing in Galen, not enormous amounts. I'm hoping to get in tonight, actually. I was hoping to have an evening's questing last night, but a friend of mine, just to add to all of the 2022 bobbinsness, a friend of mine is in hospital with infective endocarditis, which is an infection of the heart muscle. So it's pretty serious, and the solution to their problem is going to involve open heart surgery. So it's all a bit like, ooh. So I went to see them in hospital yesterday, and I did not play any Elder Scrolls, but I'm hoping to get some more time in Galen this evening. I'm probably I thought I was about like halfway through all of the questing in Galen. But when I actually opened my map, I've discovered that actually I've done all the side quests. And probably I should get on with that main questing business. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I haven't done any of the main quests. I've done loads of questing in Galen. Oh yeah, you've been helping all of the little people do all of their little things. And I haven't done any of the main questing, so I should probably do that. We did get our little dungeon group back together on Thursday. We've not done any for a while because we were focusing on finishing our Keystone Master in World of Warcraft. But we did get our group back together on Thursday, which was really, really good. There will be, unfortunately, our tank has now gone on holiday for 2 weeks. So it might be a bit of there'll be a bit of a delay maybe before it happens again. But so we did some Undaunted keys. And the 2 of the Undaunted keys were quite easy dungeons. They were like Banished Cells 1 and Bolts of Madness, I think. So we did those on Vet. And at the end of the Banished Cells, we did our first boss on hard mode. Woo!
Huzzah!
Yeah. So that was quite exciting. It's hard mode is quite similar to bosses on Tyrannical in World of Warcraft. Like, they've just got more health. So
that depends on the dungeon.
Yeah,
and the boss.
I know some of them have like extra mechanics.
For base game, that's typically the case. Is it's just going to be more health.
But yeah, so it just felt like we were on a sort of tyrannical boss, and it was just like, okay, is he still? Oh yeah, he's still got some. Okay, we'll just hit him again. No. Okay, hit him again. Is he gonna? No, he's still got some health. Yeah. Okay. We're running out of floor. Oh, everything is on fire. This is exciting. So that was good. Felt quite good to have a crack at a hard mode thing. We also, the first time we'd ever done Bolts of Madness, and we discovered that people can fall off things. Happily, I wasn't the person who fell off things, which is hilarious because usually it's my job to do all the falling off. But literally, I was like, I can't even remember where we were. We were walking between, we weren't even on a boss or anything. We were just like doing some trash. And I like popped down a healing thing. And as I pop down the healing thing, I see the tank go flying over my shoulder. And I'm like, that's not very helpful. And then we were at a place where there was a floor. So he didn't even die. He's just like 20 feet below us on the floor. And we're like, okay, that's great. Can you come back up here? Only there's stuff up here that needs tanking. It's like, great, wonderful. So yeah, we had a great fun in the Vaults of Madness, falling off all the things. Alex did fall off to his death. He managed to fall off a bit where there wasn't a floor. And it was like, he jumped off very confidently off one of those, because there's lots of platforms that you have to sort of run along for a bit, and then there's a drop down, and you run along for a bit, and then there's a drop down. And he very confidently like dropped off the edge of this platform and just missed the platform that was underneath. And we were like, oh, balls. All right, we'll have to wait for you to get back now. It's fine. But I was quite pleased that I wasn't the person who fell off things. So that was good. What else have I done? I've been doing my writs. I've got my woodworking to 50 now.
Congrats.
So woodworking, clothing, and alchemy are all at 50. quite a lot of the others are floating around 47, 48. Dual crafting is at like 20. Provisioning is at like 23. But everything else is getting close. So yeah, we're working our way up.
Yeah, provisioning will come as you start making more food for yourself.
Well, I don't need to because I keep getting it from the thing.
Yeah, at some point you just take like half an hour to just craft food and just spam it, and then you'll get to level 50 usually.
Yeah,
that's how I do it.
Yeah, it's because you get lots of food for the login thing, and I'm not doing lots of progress stuff. I don't often do anything, but hopefully we'll get into trials and things in due course, and then definitely there will be food. So yeah, bits and pieces in ESO, not too much. Well, how about yourself, Shanty?
Well, I've been taking it a little easy this week. I've been working on unlocking antiquities on all my alts, just so I don't have to send leads around if I don't want to.
Yeah.
Plus, it's something that I don't have to focus on too hard, like trying to pay attention to story or anything like that. Something where I'm repeating it 14 plus times. It's, I've done this little bit. I know exactly what you're going to say. I can skip the dialogue here. So that's what I've been doing this week. Part of it is that my mental health has taken a huge dip with all the dental work I've been through in the past 3 months. So just trying to cope with that until I get this next appointment done, and then trying to move back into progressing towards actual progression in game. Like that Swashbuckler Supreme title, it's calling to my soul. But I got to get there first. So it's going to be a road, but glad to be on it. And how about you, Daphne? What have you been up to?
Well, in ESO, I'm also kind of taking a little more easy, playing some different games because it's really I was close to burnout earlier this year, so I've been trying to focus on different games. But I definitely do try to play ESO at least once a week because I still absolutely adore the game. So it was yesterday actually when I logged on for a little bit to see some more of the new zone, and I wanted to get a furnishing recipe. So I just ran around and farmed, tried to get to urns, tried to find chests. I still don't have it, and it's like 2 million gold to buy them. Like, that's not quite worth it yet. No. Apart from that, I'm basically endgame player, but I'm too casual to do proper endgame stuff. Like hard modes, I would love to have a go at them more, like the DLC hard modes. I've done a few. I'd love to do more of them, or maybe eventually trifectas as well. But the thing with them is that it's just so tough to find people to do them with, make sure that everyone wants to, have communications, especially if I want to do them on stream. People have to be there for a certain time. I have to be streaming ESO, which is sometimes also, especially right now, sometimes I just don't really feel like it. And then imagine if I agree to do a hard mode on one day and then I'm like, actually, I'm not really feeling like ESO today. I can't really do that. So the actual proper end games, things where you have to organize things, I'm ready for it. I can do it, but I just haven't found the time or, the organization skills to actually organize them. So I'm scared of getting into housing a little bit more. Still doing random vet dungeons with pugs. I really enjoy the challenge of that. And I think it's going to be time to properly level an alt soon as well. See how that goes.
Cool.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the interview proper here. What was your introduction to the Elder Scrolls in general and ESO in particular?
So my introduction to Elder Scrolls was actually Elder Scrolls Online. It was the first Elder Scrolls game I played. I played for a little bit and then I quit for a few years. And then I remember watching a few streamers play for charity where they had to kill dragons in Elsewhere. And for every dragon they killed, I think Zos would donate money to charity, something like that. And I was like,
nice.
I remember this game and I kind of want to try again. So that's kind of when I started playing again. And So I already had a character. She was horribly unbalanced. That was only you. So I was like, I also did not remember a thing of the game. So I decided to start over completely on the North American server, which is also why I main on there right now, because I spend most of my time and money on the North American server. So that's kind of where I stuck. And yeah, I started streaming it from the beginning as well, and the community was so lovely. And it was only kind of after that I decided, like, okay, I should try out Morrowind. I should try Skyrim. I still haven't tried Oblivion Daggerfall Arena, but I'm getting there.
Oblivion is excellent. Oblivion is amazing.
People keep telling me.
As long as you don't encounter a bug after
As long as you
many
don't-
hours.
As long as you don't encounter a bug. Unfortunately, there are a lot of bugs, but yeah. Are you a single character type player, or do you have a bunch of alts waiting to go?
I already hinted it a little bit, I think, but yeah, I mainly play one character. On each server, I have one character that is champion level, and my highest level character after that is level 35. So
That's
I am
definitely
very
how I
much
play. How I
yeah,
play
it's-
MMOs.
I enjoy collecting everything on one character. Now the shared achievements make that a little bit easier. But for me, it didn't make sense to make a bunch of alt characters and, get achievements on them when I can't have them on my main character. Like, I want them on my main character first. So yeah, I just really enjoy playing her. But at the moment, it's definitely I'm leaning more towards leveling alts as well and experiencing different classes, because at the moment it's definitely sometimes I log on, I'm like, what am I supposed to do today? I only haven't finished the High Owl story and the Galen, the Fire Song story. Those are the only two stories that in the whole game that I haven't finished. Apart from that, I have finished the main story, all the zone stories. I've completed a few zones as well. So that's still like something that I enjoy too. But of course, you have to be in a mood to do those quests and delves and all that. So I think it's time for me to have a look at my alts and actually level them.
What is the class of your main? What is it you usually play?
I am a Templar. So in group
Nice.
content, I love healing, and I also made a solo build for, on stream mainly when I'm on my own. I don't want to keep asking chat like, oh, hey, can someone help me with this raw boss or something? I want to be able to solo it. So I'm a healer, group content, but also able to solo a bunch of things.
Nice. What was your start in content creation?
Oh, goodness. That was 2019. 2019 was a really rough year for me for like a bunch of reasons. I got out of a pretty bad relationship. One of my best friends passed away, and 2 days after that, my grandpa passed away. So lots of things were happening in that that 1 year. And I basically, after that bad relationship, I started watching Twitch more, and I was like, just, it was a nice place to be, people to chat to, no actual requirements to chat to people like you have with actual friendships. I didn't really have friends at the time. So Twitch was kind of a really nice way for me to connect with people. And then I'd been thinking about starting to stream for quite a while. And then I was like, especially after the friend passed away, she definitely was encouraging. And I was like, you know what, I just got to do this. I just got to get started. It's never going to be perfect right away, but I just gotta start. And I think the first game that I streamed was Overwatch.
Nice.
I streamed Overwatch, I streamed Life is Strange, Undertale, so a bunch of different games. I didn't start playing ESO until April 2020.
Okay.
So I first did a bunch of months of just like variety. I started with a crappy laptop and an old TV as a second screen where I couldn't even read chat on, so I had chat on my phone. And then for my birthday, I bought a nice second screen, and my laptop still held up quite nicely until I think it was the Greymore update kind of was like the end of it, but I was already building and getting parts for a PC at that point. So, and I got a camera, I got a special microphone because I was using my microphone from a laptop. It was awful. So there is like all that all that like very basic stuff, and then slowly I start expanding and getting more things, and yeah. So it's been a very interesting journey for sure.
Cool. What is the pickle crew?
So the pickle crew is what I call my subscribers. The story, it's kind of, people always ask like, do you like pickles so much? I don't. I like them. Don't get me wrong, but it's not that I just like I every night my go-to snack is pickles. It kind of started when one of my friends, Brandon, he hates pickles. So I joked that I had a goal to go to TwitchCon San Diego in 2020, and I said that if I hit that goal, Brandon lived in San Diego at the time, and I was like, if we hit that goal, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna slap Brandon with a pickle. So we add the pickle emote to my channel, and that kind of just kept building on.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing that's gonna snowball.
So yeah, that's the whole story behind the pickle. It's it just became part of the brand, and I'm not even mad. I quite enjoy it. I now have pickle merch. I have a pickle suit. It's all just kind of come full circle.
And have you succeeded in slapping your friend Brandon with a pickle?
No, because obviously
TwitchCon didn't happen. Yeah.
And then I was going to go this year. I had booked my flights. I'd booked my hotel. But then with their announcement of not requiring masks, and me also realizing I'm gonna have to travel for 14 hours on like first to London, then to San Diego, on a flight where people are probably not going to be wearing masks. I suddenly just got really nervous about that all. I was like, okay, I need to be really serious, because even when they announced the mask requirements, I was like, okay, then I go to the convention, but it would be very hypocritical of me to then also go to other events outside of the convention where masks aren't required. What if I get stuck there? My insurance would cover it all, but I'd be stuck there on my own. So all that kind of really got to my head. I decided to cancel my hotel, which would have actually been more expensive because of the dollar-euro currency change. I managed to get a voucher for my flights. So at least, I didn't lose that 600 euros. And I'm actually really, really lucky that I did, because the day that I was supposed to fly out, that morning, in the evening, my mom called me that I actually did go on holiday to within Europe, and that I arrived all good. My mom called me in the evening and said she had COVID.
Oh no!
Now, yeah, I didn't get it. I was really lucky that I didn't get it. But if I would have been in the US at the time, I wouldn't have gone to the convention, even if I tested negative. Because on holiday, I was at the beach most of my days. I didn't see people, so I was like, whatever, I can still go places. But if I was in the US, I would actually not have gone to the convention. So still no pickle slap.
Lucky escape.
Yeah, still no pickle slap. Maybe next year, I'm thinking of going to PAX East, because I have to spend my flight voucher somewhere. So maybe PAX East. Otherwise, maybe TwitchCon 2023. We'll see.
Okay.
It will happen. Pickle slap will happen one day.
It's going to be a big event after all of this build-up.
For sure. We're going to live stream it and all that.
I mean, it's one of the few sagas I've heard recently that has outdone the saga of the flat.
Yeah.
So, do you have a specialty that you stream in ESO, or are you more of a generalist?
More of a generalist. I have ADHD. I can't stick with the same thing for too long. Honestly, I'm actually impressed that I managed to exclusively stream ESO for over 8 months. The fact that I didn't stream anything else for about 8 months is very impressive to me. Because I don't finish games. I've actually recently been talking about this. I don't finish. I'm really bad. I start games, and then I just barely ever finish them. So with ESO, I think the reason why I managed to stick with it is because there's so many different things you can do. For a while, all I did was dungeons. Then I just, did a bunch of questing. Then I would do arenas and just a whole bunch of different things, because that's what I enjoy doing. it was easier for me to just do all the different things rather than focus on one thing. The only thing that I don't really do is PvP. Only when there's an event. Then maybe.
I mean, that's fair. I wouldn't say that The Elder Scrolls is the best franchise to jump into if finishing games is your is the thing that you want to do.
No, it's really funny. I don't recall the last time that I actually finished the game, and then this year I finished Stray, and I immediately got a tattoo from the game.
Hey! Do you know what? I'm only halfway through.
I just accidentally finished Cult of the Lamb, and I'm like, should I just get tattoos for all the games that I finish? But yeah, no, I'm so when it comes to finishing games, I played some Skyrim yesterday as well to celebrate the anniversary of it. And I've kind of made a deal with myself to say, okay, finishing game for me means finishing the main story. Because obviously Skyrim, you might never ever
how do you finish Skyrim? Like,
exactly.
Is there at what point is it finished?
Finishing it, in quotation marks, for me means like finishing the main story of a game. Especially with the story games, because there's a bunch of games that I would love to play and finish, but if I want to actually 100% them, not possible. Not possible in this lifetime.
I think that's fair. I definitely think for Elder Scrolls games, you need to set a definition of what you mean by finish. And the main story seems like a good place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why my preferred genre is MMOs, because then I don't have to worry about finishing.
Oh, yeah,
there's always the built-in, it's an MMO, it's never done.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is the part of the show where we remind you that we are part of Bonus Roll Productions. You can find our show and lots of other great MMO-focused podcasts, such as Unshackled Fury, A Podcast Reborn, and Girls Gone WoW over at bonusroll.gg.
So you've had the opportunity to go to an ESO tavern.
Yes.
Tell us what that was like. We're very jealous.
It was incredible. I'm not sure if I'm just got a cold rush or just goosebumps from thinking about it, but it was such an amazing event. So I basically saw that there was going to be an ESO tavern. I'm like, Cologne? That's like 2.5 hours by train. 1.5 hours, depending on what train you take. It's it's like anywhere between 1.5 and 3 hours by train. And I was like, easy, I'll go there. And I'll book a hostel or hotel. I booked a hotel to arrive the day before and then leave again on Sunday. So I'd have all Saturday there to go to the ESO Tavern. I ended up getting opportunities at the Gamescom itself as well. And end up booking a different hotel from Wednesday through to Friday. Because I was supposed to go on Friday and I had a bunch of opportunities like, my day is filled now. I have to also go a few days earlier. So that was genuinely probably the most fun event, the most fun week of this year for me. I went alone. I went by myself and I had the best time. I had the absolute best time there. So yeah, Gamescom already like Wednesday morning, got up at 7 a.m. 3 days of Gamescom, it was time for ESO Tavern. That was actually the one day that I got to sleep in a little bit because it didn't start until like 1 p.m. I think. So I slept in a bit, got ready, and I get there. It's a huge line already. And luckily, the day before that, I had already managed to meet Rich, CJ, and Finn at Gamescom. Because they had a tiny Bethesda booth, and I kept walking past there to see if there was anyone I knew. So luckily, I've met them before, so, I already got to say hi. And it was quite funny because, for obvious reasons, a lot of the German people who watch Twitch and play ESO, they don't know who I am. Because they tend to watch the German streamers. So I was just standing there alone. I understand German. No one else really, no one really made an attempt to talk to me. And I was also like, I don't really speak German well enough to actually participate in conversation. So I was just standing there on my own. And Rich just walks past to, say hi to people. And he's so, hi, Daphne. And everyone looks at me like, what? I know you. But yeah, so I ended up being able to, hang out with the devs. They were very friendly. They, obviously they were talking to a lot of people, but they did absolutely make an effort to come talk to me and also Arcaneer. We were a few of not so many people who didn't speak German there, so I basically hung out with Arcaneer for the whole day, and then the devs would just walk up to us every now and then and say hi. Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. It's obviously I'm not really like fangirling or anything, but it is still like kind of mind blowing that you get to talk to the people who make one of your favorite games. It's and they want to talk to you.
Finn replied to one of my tweets this week. I didn't tweet at him. I tweeted on Thursday after we'd been in dungeons and just said, "Oh, we had a great time in ESO tonight, and we did our first like hard mode boss, and we had a really great time." And Finn replied to my tweet. I was like, I had a moment of like, who is this stranger who's replied to my? Oh my god!
Yeah. They're genuinely so nice. I already booked my hotel for Gamescom and ESO Tavern again next year because there is no way I'm not going. But yeah, it was a very relaxed like atmosphere. It was just a bunch of people hanging out, the community coming together. I had a massive humbling moment humbling, like I don't know how to describe it. Someone recognized me. Someone, like, I was walking past and Ark just goes, "I think those people recognize you," and I turn around and it was like and they recognized me, and I had a bit of a chat with them, and that never happens to me because I'm not that big of a content creator, and especially in the Netherlands, everyone knows the Dutch streamers, people who stream in Dutch. I'm starting to get to know more people, but people don't know me. So, in the Netherlands, when I'm at a convention, I'm just talking to a Dutch streamer, and suddenly, someone comes up like, "Hey, can I take a picture with that streamer?" And obviously, it's really weird when someone recognized you IRL. But overall, the atmosphere was really great. I met a bunch of really great people. I was getting tired at one point. I'm so glad I stayed because the bands started grabbing their bagpipes and standing on the tables and just singing and dancing. It was the perfect tavern vibe.
Oh, it sounds amazing. I might have a look and see if I can sneak Gamescom 2023 into my 2023 plans.
Honestly, if you can, 100%. Like Gamescom itself, also just absolutely amazing. It was a really weird experience for me because at first I had to buy my tickets, and then I didn't manage to. I bought the wrong ticket, so I asked for a refund so I could buy the right tickets, and all of a sudden they gave me a creator pass so I could go in for free, which was pretty good because I ended up having to pay a lot for taxi costs. So they refunded my tickets, so now I spent that on taxi costs.
Nice.
But yeah, I think it's the best convention that I've been to this year. And obviously the addition of having ESO Tavern on the Saturday, when it's also the busiest day as the Gamescom, so you don't really want to be at the convention anyway. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and it is. I know my Girls Gone Wild co-host and I went to BlizzCon in 2019, and there were a couple of people. So in the whole of BlizzCon, which is obviously tens of thousands of people, there was a moment when we were walking somewhere and somebody stopped us because they'd recognized us, and we were like, "Oh my god, this is incredible! Oh, it's Jeff! Hello, Jeff!" Yeah, it does make you feel like, oh my god. Like, there were lots of people we met there because we'd arranged to meet them. But yeah, it's just pretty cool when people like wander past you and you're like, "Oh hey, it's Raven!" Like, oh my god. Yeah, it's an incredible feeling.
For sure.
Yeah, so you may want to keep a close eye on that PAX East 2023. There's rumblings among certain community members that there might be a stateside ESO Tavern there as well. So just wanted to point that out to you in case you hadn't heard.
I hadn't know. I only know that I think I don't know. I don't remember who said it, but they already marked the 10-year anniversary of ESO in their calendar for like, there's going to be a big event somewhere in the world and we need to attend it. And I was like, I'm going to do the same. Just whenever that's going to be, I want to be there. But yeah, I'm planning to go. If I'm going to PAX East, I'm planning to go to the East Coast for probably 2-ish weeks anyway to see friends and, actually see some more of the US as well. Because I have friends who live relatively close to the big cities. So hopefully I can afford to actually do some other fun stuff as well. But yeah, I need to spend my flights somewhere, so
That seems like a good option.
right?
So you mentioned hanging out with Arcaneer. During the tavern, you actually live streamed playing IRL Tales of Tribute. Do you have any advice for any future players if they may end up releasing it in the future?
So I already told Rich, like, if you want to chat about releasing it as a real game, just hit me up because having played it, I have ideas. Because so obviously it was a prototype kind of thing. I think actually I have the cards right here. It's I got one of the cards, the rally card.
Yeah.
So
it's one of my favorite cards is Rally.
Yeah, so at first I thought I was going to like just search for a nice card, and then it was like such a huge tag. I was like, I'm gonna just pick one, and this one came out. So
hey.
So because it's an audio podcast, basically it's like a regular playing card with the shape printed on it. So I definitely would like them to, if they release it as an actual card game, I would love it if they release it in the right shape. What they really would need to do is mark the symbols, like give you a little list of what all these symbols means, because I regularly had to hold up a card to stream like, please tell me what this means, because I have no clue what this does. So that kind of, it's very basic things. Explain the rules, maybe the things that we really struggled with were like the agents. We forgot that we could remove agents with power. We forgot that taunt agents are a thing that you can't prestige. So we completely forgot about that. It is definitely a more complex game if you don't have the tooltips.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's doable if they release it with, thorough instructions, or maybe simplify it. I think either of those would be a good call.
I'd say with the thorough instructions, having played some real life deck builders that are more complex, it can definitely be launched as long as it has the instructions. I'm going to air quote here, as is. But yeah, like maybe something like a bit more of the tooltip text on the cards would probably help as well.
Yeah. And of course, you also have to kind of, they would have to think about what are you going to do when the in-game game gets updated, because card values get changed and all that. So they will probably have to release a version that is so standalone that it kind of plays the same way, but it is still like different, and it's very clear that's a standalone thing. But yeah, obviously, I think people who would play it are people who are a fan of the game anyway. It's not going to be something that your grandparents would buy and play. So I feel like in that sense, it's meant for people who already know about the game, which would make it easier for us to play RL.
Cool. So you regularly do fundraisers for various charities. What are your favorite charities that you worked with?
Oh gosh, I definitely don't think there's any charity that was bad. Of course, there with any organization. Sometimes there is like some chaotic organization struggles, but I really like the charities that interact with you. So, for example, I last month I did Gamers Outreach, and they stopped by my stream a few times. They was like, "Hey, great job! We love to see what you're doing." Or replying to my tweets. And it's the same with American Heart Association with Elder Hearts. Save the Children, No Kid Hungry. Those are all charities that I've noticed that really, connect with you. And my first charity fundraiser. So I had done one before. So I have Crohn's disease, a chronic bowel disease, and I was struggling with it. So I made I opened a fundraiser campaign. I didn't really actively fundraise, but I figured I would open a campaign, while I was struggling with it. So technically that was my first campaign, but my first actual campaign where I was pushing for donations was for able gamers. And Steven Spohn himself actually stopped by my stream as well. And that's, it's things like that make me really appreciate a charity, because they, obviously I don't want to be praised for my work or whatever, but it is nice to have some recognition by charity that's, no matter how much you raise, like, hey, thank you for raising money for us. And so, yeah, it's really tough to actually pick a favorite.
Yeah, that's actually why I like working with Extra Life a lot, is because they're constantly replying to tweets. They're constantly encouraging you and trying to build hype up for things that you're doing. So yeah. when they're responsive, it's definitely a better feeling.
Yeah, and it's also really tough because I do get a lot of charities reaching out to me like, hey, do you want to fundraise for us? And last year I actually did a lot of fundraising to the point where it was overwhelming. And so this year I kind of tried to cut down a little bit and, kind of stick to team things or things that I can already plan in advance. So from Gamers Outreach, they actually reached out. Oh gosh, I can actually check when I got the first message. That was in July. They reached out for last month. And I just got reached out for a charity campaign in February. And I really appreciate when they reach out early because then I can plan things. Because so often I get reached out to and they're like, yeah, we're having a fundraiser next month. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I'm either already booked with a charity or I just don't have time to fully plan a campaign. And of course, when you do charity things, you have to keep in mind people are donating their money. So you can't, first of all, you might burn yourself out if you do too much charity, but you might also burn other people out. And I don't mind pushing for money for charity, but I also want to make sure people aren't giving too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough because I would love to raise money for all the charities, but I just gotta pick, one every 2 months at most.
Yeah, completely fair. On the subject of fundraisers, what are the most wild things that you've set as a reward for hitting a fundraising goal, and what are the ones that you were most surprised to hit?
Ooh, okay. So I think the wildest one, we didn't hit it. But I said I would get a pumpkin tattoo if we would hit $5,000 for Gamers Outreach last month. We hit 3,400. Which is an amazing amount. I'm gonna do it again. Next month I'm going to raise money with one of my charity teams, the Connection Project, and I am going to set it again. This time it's going to be a bit different because I am $3,500 away from hitting a total of 25,000 raised on Tiltify. So if we hit that, charity tattoo. Haven't decided what exactly yet, but that's so actually a tattoo to honor charity is definitely still in the works. I think that's probably like the most wild thing that I set as a goal that we didn't hit. I've done a few really fun things over the times. I think the most surprising one was my St. Jude campaign of last year. I think that was my second fundraising campaign ever, and people went a bit ham. So, I was like, $1,500 worth of goals should be more than enough. I raised about $1,000 for able gamers, $1,500 stretch goals, perfect. Didn't stop there. And then at some point, I was like, okay, if we hit $3,500, I'll buy a pickle suit and I'll wear that. And so we did. And then I didn't have the brain space to think of more incentives. So I joked, it was the hot tub meta time. I joked that if we hit $5,000, I would wear the pickle suit in a hot tub. Just a kiddie pool. And even though there were no goals in between that, we still hit that goal.
Oh my goodness.
I still don't understand it. I'm still mind blown by the fact that we did hit that goal. But yeah, so I have a Nicolas Cage suit and a pickle suit that make their comeback for charity. Almost every charity campaign.
Okay.
I've done things like IRL Zoo stream, a cooking stream, horror games. Gosh. I honestly sometimes forget all the things that I've done for charity because obviously I try to come up with new things all the time. But the weirdest, most painful single donation thing was actually for Gamers Outreach as well. I jokingly added it because I was like, no one is going to donate that much. So I said, if someone donates $250 at once, I will grab one of those toxic waste sour candies, which are so sour that it hurts. I will put hot sauce on it, and I'll put Marmite on it. And one of my community members read it, and they were like, yeah, sure.
No.
Twice. They donated $250 twice. So yeah, I've learned my lesson.
Wow.
Don't add things you're not prepared to do.
So did you do it? Did you have to do it?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, and
it was awful.
Yeah. How was that? Oh my god.
I don't even know how to describe the flavor combination because obviously sour is so overpowering, and then there's some spice, so your mouth's on fire, and then the Marmite is normally salty, but for some reason, with all the flavor combinations, it was almost sweet.
Yeah, like your tongue is just like, confused. I can't taste. I don't know what to do now. I don't know how to process any of these flavors.
Basically. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna definitely list it again for next charity stream. $250, sure. You know, it doesn't happen often, obviously, because otherwise my stomach would not survive that. But if it's for charity, I'm happy to do weird things. But I've also added like a kind of like a trick or treat thing, because I've noticed that not everyone wants you to suffer. So, you know, for $100, I will have the hot sauce on the sour candy without the Marmite. And sometimes people donate and like, no, treat. You know, you grab some candy, have a cookie or whatever, because people just want you to do something nice. So, yeah.
Okay. Oh, hot sauce on sour candies. Oh my god.
With Marmite.
With Marmite. Marmite is the worst thing. It is. Oh my god, I hate Marmite so much.
I actually, this jar of Marmite is from when I still lived in the UK, and I moved back to the Netherlands beginning of 2020.
Oh wow, okay.
It's far expired, but it's fine.
I mean, it's Marmite. Like, what could possibly? I think Marmite's immune to like any kind of decay. I think it's just one of the like. When we have nuclear war, I think the thing that will survive is the rats and the Marmite. I think that's...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Ugh.
And Twinkies.
Wow.
Well.
Oh, yeah.
And Twinkies. And in America, we'll have Twinkies. And Australia will have Tim Tams. And that's kind of basically that. And Vegemite. Oh, God. Yeah. Right, well, I'm moving us away from this horrible topic very swiftly. So we've just got a couple of fun questions to finish off. If you could choose one race or species to pop from Nern into our reality, what would you choose?
I think this is just really, you know, obvious, but the Elfiques. Imagine having a cat that could talk to you. My cats yell at me all the time. I have no clue what they're saying.
I mean, I can sort of imagine quite a lot of what my cat's saying. It's not very nice, most of it, I would think. So I have a cat sleeping right next to me. She is the quiet one. My other cat is so loud that sometimes when she stands... So my mic is not supposed to pick up anything behind it. Okay. But sometimes when my cat's all the way on the other side of the room and she meows, you can still hear it. Fantastic.
She smiles.
Fantastic.
So is it the quiet one or the loud one that you have the 10-hour loop of the purring?
That's the loud one. She doesn't purr as loudly anymore, but I had to like position my mic right in front of her face and turn up the gain and all that, and just like make sure that she doesn't move her face. And I managed to record 2 minutes of purring and then loop that for 10 hours.
10 hours? Oh my goodness.
It's really relaxing.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that it would be relaxing. Relaxing is not River's current watchword. There's quite a lot of running around going on my floor at the moment.
Okay, so this one didn't actually get sent to you, but it's pretty standard if you've listened to our show before. Who would win 6 billion guar or one of each Pokemon?
Okay, can I ask a question to that? Like Pokemon, I haven't actually ever played Pokemon games, and I really need to. But anyway, I do know enough about Pokemon that I know that there's like different generations. Do we mean like all of them,
All of them. We'll even include Scarlet and Violet, which are due out next week. So there's about 1,100 or so.
Yeah.
6 billion gore.
Yes.
Billion.
And we're talking about we're talking about the big gores.
Yes.
Or the
Not
small.
Bantam. Not Bantam Guar. Full Guar.
Oh, that's such a tough question because I would say 6 billion. I think the gores would win. Because even though the Pokemon have special powers and they can do a whole bunch of stuff, 6 billion. There's no way. There's like they will kill one gore and another one will just chomp down on them. I'm gonna go with the gores.
I think that's fair.
Right.
It's totally fair.
I totally overthought that, didn't I?
It's okay.
No, you actually came to the same reasoning that most of our guests have had, actually.
Yeah,
The numbers game is just it's a bit much.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to rethink that question.
Maybe retire, move on to a new one. But thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Can you let our listeners know where they can find you online?
So I am pretty standard DemonCatDaphne on all platforms. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of that. So yeah. And thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed my time here.
Thanks. And thank you for tuning into the show. If you've enjoyed it, please join the 6 people on Bonus Roll who have left us 5-star reviews.
Yay!
And you can let other people know and give it a review wherever you are listening to us. Rating and reviewing the show will help other people find it. You can also give us a review over at Bonus Roll Podcast Directory. Go to bonusroll.gg/directory to find it. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can find us on Twitter at 10th Divine Pod, or you can email us at 10thdivinepodcast@gmail.com.
If you want to find us in other places, you can find me, Raven, over at Girls Gone WoW if you're a World of Warcraft fan, or if tabletop RPGs are more your thing, check out As the Dice Roll, where I'm part of the crew of the Cautious Optimism. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and recently Mastodon as Silky Raven. You can also check out the GGW Discord over at girlsgonewild.net/Discord. There's a channel for ESO chatter and lots of other gaming chat over there.
And you can find me, Shanty, on Twitter or Twitch at Shantyman Gaming. You can also find me on the Girls Gone WoW Discord, joining in the ESO chatter and gaming chat, and a whole variety of other gaming Discords. Feel free to say hello if you happen to see me online. We will be back in a fortnight with another lovely chat about ESO. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.